Hello people, I know I said that we need to ignore this Burns, Oregon situation and it go away, but it seems as though nobody wants to ignore it, and so therefore about everywhere you look you see something on it. Now I want to elaborate just a little bit on the end of that last video I had to Pete, where I was talking about the residents of Burns, Oregon. They're just going into that compound totally disarmed, obviously disarmed. A bunch of them residents, if they're so discontent with that occupation happening, if a bunch of them residents just gathered themselves together, went there obviously unarmed, and escorted them gentlemen behind this fiasco off that property, they would have no choice but to leave the property or murder the residents of Burns, Oregon, which would obviously defeat the purpose of this government-controlled fiasco. Don't you get it? Look at it from the whole picture, people. Let me just say something. In my honest opinion here, what's going on? You see, we've got a situation here that's a little bit different than the Bunkerville and the Bundy Ranch. Yet, we have the same players, the same key players. And I believe that the Bundy Ranch was also a government research project, as I would like to call it, to see who was gonna be radical against their invasive actions. Who will stand up against the tyranny and oppression imposed by the Corporation of the United States of America? Now see, y'all realize there was a lot of people at the Bunkerville, at the Bundy Ranch. But you gotta realize, what is Las Vegas? It's a tourist trap. You got Albuquerque, you got Phoenix, you got St. George, you got all of the California that are right there close. And if there's something going on, it's human nature to want to know what it is. And so the curiosity enveloped into all of these people to go and check out the Bunkerville situation. And yes, there was a lot of people that showed up at that research project. Y'all should be happy because the government now knows a little bit more about you and that you are more radical. Now, check this out. After the Bunkerville incident, this last summer, what'd they do? They rolled out Jade Helm 15, people. The artificial intelligence program. And now you have the same characters from the Bundy Ranch standoff who have now decided they're going to take another action against the feds. See? And this time, it's out in a secluded area, so you're not going to have so many people showing up. And I really think that there are some good-hearted people who, like I said, support the idea behind the action, but be careful and critically analyze this entire situation, because it is not what you think it is. It's a government research project, guaranteed, to find out who the radicalist people are. And now I'm going to tell you something. Y'all that show up there, you better really start watching your back. You really better. See, because this is where it gets interesting, people. I happen to know a lot about how corporate America first took over our courts. And then, after they took over our courts, see, they merged in the state driver's license. You don't have to have a driver's license, but everybody fell into the trap, and here's what they've done. They started issuing no driver's license tickets to everybody. And then when you went into their courtroom, they would give you the option of going down and paying $5 for this driver's license that you didn't even need, or pay the $20 fine and spend 2 days in jail. Now what's it going to be, people? Now with your implied stupidity, everybody is forced to have a driver's license. One, because y'all forgot how to use the courts as they were designed back in the 1860s. And then they merged the driver's license in, people. And this is where I'm getting. They are now imposing, by 2018, you're all going to have a federal ID. And here's the reason behind it. Listen to me. Listen carefully. Right now, the feds cannot, while you have a state ID, put a black mark on all of you potential homegrown terrorists, because everybody has a check mark by their name, and the states would be questioning why this outstanding civilian of our community has a black mark, see? Now you got to remember, all of the policy enforcement officers have been indoctrinated to believe the same list of 74 terrorist groups that I previously mentioned in the video earlier. They have been indoctrinated to believe we are terrorists. And so once they get this federal ID implemented, the feds have control over what is dispatched towards the person represented by this ID card that's now federal. And if you can't figure out where I'm coming from there, and how they're going to implement this federal ID by everybody getting a violation, code violation for not having a federal ID, and then you're going to go into court, and the judge is going to tell you that the federal ID is now a mandated law, and that you have failed to adhere to the law. See? And we're going to offer you a deal here, their judge is going to tell you. This federal ID is $100. The penalty for failure to purchase and adhere to this federal ID is a $1,000 fine and 6 months in our FEMA re-education centers. What are you going to do, people? What are you going to do? Now you see how this is all playing out? Now maybe one of you will just take a little time after this little session here and see where I'm going in some of my other videos on what is really going on, people. We need to get the fuck woke up fast. And it ain't even woke up, it's alert. You need to alarm everybody. This is an alarming. Things are about to change, people, and it's not for the better. I recommend you all go out and buy extra rice, beans, corn, wheat, molasses, coffee beans, all of your long-term supplyable, barterable goods. Because that silver and gold and them dollars aren't going to be worth anything when it comes down to having to actually survive. Anyway, I'm going to try to stay off this Burns, Oregon fiasco, but it's kind of hard when it's in your face, everybody. I just want to say thanks for all you guys, for all you do. And hey, you know what? If you want to go down and support that Burns Oregon deal, feel free to do it. No one is stopping you. Don't let the fear of the unknown stop you from doing what you want to do. For real. I just encourage you all to critically analyze that entire situation before you act upon emotion. And if should shit start when it does down there, you better continue to analyze it for a little bit and let things play out a little bit before you just jump into the mess. Because it's gonna be ugly. Anyway, people, thanks for tuning in. See ya.